Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of the Ski Rex Media Podcast. We're still talking about prepping for the next season, and we're going to go to the most obvious next. We're going to COVID-19, prepping for COVID-19 in the next season on the Ski Rex Media Podcast. How we doing, everybody? Tim from Ski Rex Media. As you well know, if you watch or listen often, if you are a returning fan of the Ski Rex Media podcast at Ski Rex Media and skirexmedia.com, if you aren't, I am Tim from Ski Rex Media. We're talking preparing for the next ski season. That's what this current series of new episodes in the new season are all about. And today we're going to talk about preparing for COVID-19 in the coming 2020-21 ski season. 2020-2021 ski season. That's what we're talking about. And you could ask, why wasn't this the first episode of the new season, since we're talking about preparing for the coming season? Since fall is a few weeks away, I should say, and then winter right behind that, why not talk about COVID-19 then? Why talk about gear last week first? Well, it's a valid question. COVID-19 still a very big thing in the news, still working it out, still figuring it out, still handling it, still trying to decide if masks are good or not. We don't know. We just wear them because it can't hurt. I wear mine and I look good in mine, so I don't even care. Plus, if you go in the description in the Ski Rex Media merch shop, the Ski Rex Media merch shop has masks for yours and everyone else's safety. If you choose to wear one, why not wear a Ski Rex Media mask? Go to my Instagram, look at the story. Actually, that story was yesterday, but that's okay. One of the diehard Ski Rex Media fans got her mask in the mail, and she tried it on. It's awesome. It looks great. I hope it works out well for her. I'm going to save that, I think, after I'm done recording this and make sure I can share it again. Anyway, enough of that silliness and shameless plugs. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Because like I said, this could have been the first episode, but I talked about gear, getting your gear ready for the next season, because if you don't have gear, what do you have? In renters, obviously, I brought that up in the episode, that renters don't have that as much of an issue with gear, but there is still some, because there is more than just renting skis, boots, and poles. There's goggles and backpacks and stuff in the backpack, and hats, gloves, pants, all that good stuff. But if you don't have your gear, or you don't have a plan for gear, then COVID-19 doesn't matter, because if you can't get the gear, then you're not doing it anyway. So that's why that's part 2, because it is pertinent. It is a big deal. It is something we've been talking about. It's something resorts have been talking about. Before we get too deep into it, though, realize that Tim from Ski Rex Media is just opinionated. He's no expert. That's a joke. I'm not overly opinionated. What I am is just full of opinions on how to prepare for skiing in the time of COVID-19. Not love in the time of cholera, but skiing and snowboarding in the time of COVID-19. So I am no expert. Please use any and all guidelines given out by health officials, health authorities, your state, the federal government, your local towns and cities and whatnot. Go to them first. They're going to know better than I am. I'm just going to shoot out some of my own guidelines, things that I'm going to be thinking about, things that I'm going to do. Maybe you'll agree with them, maybe you won't, but that's how conversation starts. That's the best part about agree to disagree, is that's how conversations can start. Because if you disagree on something, that'll get you talking about it. And then you'll hash it out, and either maybe you'll both or all will continue to disagree, or everybody's mind will be changed one way or the other. Who knows? But I'm not an expert. Listen to the experts and then take what I say and see if you can apply it to that. How's that sound? Now, when it comes down to it, we, the public, only know a little, because the ski areas still only seem to know a little. There's a little bit more coming out every day, ski areas saying it might be like this, it might be like that. No real good confirmations other than what we've seen going down in like Australia, New Zealand, and those places, what they're doing. Mask requirements, social distancing, whatever their local authorities or health authorities or agencies are, whatever they're suggesting, whatever rules they have to follow. So we've seen it but we don't know how it's going to apply here in North America and then the northern hemisphere as a whole, North America, Europe, Asia, and so on and so forth. But this is what we're going to know. We know they're going to require pretty much all the same stuff. One mountain is going to be the same as the next, the same as the last. There's going to be little differences, obviously, and that will also depend on how each mountain's run, which state it's in for the United States, which province it's in for Canada, which country and state it's in the European nations, regions, whatnot, where they're connected, where they can get to, who can get to where and why, travel restrictions, all of that stuff. But we know everybody's going to require generally the same stuff. Like I said, they're going to have masks, which we wear anyway, mostly for warmth and to not get wind and sun damage. Wear your sunblock, kids. I know I do every day. I don't have great skin, as you can really tell. Dude, if you're watching this, I shaved today, and it just, oh, God. Ugh. I know self-deprecating humor is probably not the best to throw out at any given time, but, dude, it is what it is. Anyway, masks. Wear them, a lot like my state. I live in Vermont, as you all know. If you're a returning fan, if you're new, DRX Media HQ is in the state of Vermont, central Vermont. We have a mask order right across the river. There's towns in New Hampshire that also have the mask order. I don't think the whole state does, but towns do. Distancing, call it physical distancing, social distancing, this distancing, that distancing. Stay the hell away from people. 6 feet away, that's about my arm span, actually. Believe it or not, it's a little short. Well, 6 feet's a little more, but it's a good, as long as I have a few inches on either side, I know people are 6 feet. Well, obviously about half that distance, but I could figure it out from my own arm span. But you know what I mean? Enough playing around. Keep your distance from people. You're going to need your reservations, which means you're going to need to get online quick. Do you realize, and I've made this joke before, about how kids in the 60s, 70s, 80s were, waiting online outside at night, overnight for days on end. And we've seen it in modern times too. Not so much for concerts, but things like PlayStation, Nintendo, Wii, the new Xbox, all that shit. We've seen people wait in these lines to get the tickets, like the concert tickets is the better example. But, they go and line up. You're kind of going to be doing that online because it's going to be all online reservation systems. You're going to be waiting online is what you're not going to be waiting online in person. You're going to be waiting online. It's kind of weird, but you're going to be doing that because those reservations are only going to be so many. But as the numbers start to drop, the reservations will go up as states see fit and towns. But be prepared to be online. Like, if there's a day you want to ski or ride, man, you got your snowboard, your skis ready to go, the car is packed, you're going to have to sit there. That way, when the clock strikes, and that reservation system opens for that day, because the few that were open here at the end here in the United States, the few that were open, they were crashing their systems to get reservations out. So they had to juggle it. And those reservations were if you wanted to ski on Tuesday, you had to make your reservation on Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. And then those were limited. And then there were the parking restrictions that go along with it. You pull up, there's a checkpoint. You say, I got a reservation. They say, okay. They make you fill out the COVID-19 form. I've seen that form. It's all over the place. Everybody has it. This Vermont State Parks have it. That's my that's my example of it. And I'm sure you've seen it too. The form, man. I bet you, like other resorts, hotels, I think, are requiring the form, quarantining and all that stuff. But the form, they're gonna at the parking checkpoint was the point. The parking checkpoint, you're gonna fill out the form. Say, I am not sick. I haven't been around anybody. I don't have a fever. Or you've been tested and you have the little card that says I've been tested. Got your mask, and then they'll tell you where to park. The parking attendant will space the cars. You'll go up for the day, and that'll be that. So limited parking, helping or people helping you to park, other limited services. Like, we all know this is generally what's going to be going on. And when it comes to little limited services, man, the basic thing I'm going to say about that is bring your lunch. make sure you pack your lunch. It'll just be easier. Don't be afraid to use a tree when nature calls. Yeah, it seems a little weird, and yeah, maybe only boys do it, which is bullshit because I've known plenty of adventure girls who have done it. I have seen it. Not like I'm a creeper. I'm not creeping watching some girl, go in the woods. I just know it's happened. I've been there. I'm a woodlands kind of guy. I'm a sort of adventurous kind of guy. I do my best. Camping, hiking, all that good stuff. You might have to bring some of those deep wood camping hikers, at least when it comes to using the bathroom, to the ski mountain. You might be in the woods because limited services, man, they try to clean them every hour, but if they don't have the manpower, what if they don't have the manpower or woman power, the human power, the cleaning crew, the janitorial staff to keep it busy? You might be on a tree. You might be watering the plants. Not to be gross, just putting it as simply as I can. Like I said, bring your lunches. You might be having to make your own hot chocolate and coffee at home and bringing it in your Ski Rex travel mug. That's right, Ski Rex merch shop down in the description, kids. If you're a listener, just an audio listener, and you're listening in the car, don't look at the description now. Wait till you get to home or to work. All that stuff. All of it restricted, and it's going to be a pain in the ass, but we could prepare for it. At least we could prepare mentally for it. We can say, okay, I know that services are going to be limited. What do I have to do this well? What do I have to do this comfortably? Am I going to be making my own coffee in the morning? And everybody has a K-cup machine anyway. So, I personally don't drink a lot of coffee, but I do drink a good amount of hot chocolate in the winter. I won't lie about that. So I will be making it, putting it in my mug, and I will have it, and it will probably be a ski. Well, there's no probably about it. Let's hashtag shameless plug it. Plug it. It will be a Ski Rex Media mug with hot chocolate in it, because those services are going to be limited. And let's be honest, though, dude, if we're prepping for limited services, say we all start bagging our lunch more or doing, whatever it might be, whether it's the traditional ham and cheese or peanut butter and jelly, one of my favorites. Actually, I even like to go straight peanut butter and throwing it in the bag. That's awesome and delicious. If you are an MRE guy or girl, if you are one of the, what would you call them? Well, any of the camping food manufacturers, whether it be freeze-dried or something else or add hot water, whatever it may be, any of these other solutions, if the more of us are doing that, that's more time on the mountain. You don't have to stand in the cafeteria line. You don't have to deal with a vending machine line or the obnoxiousness of a busted vending machine, or getting off and going to a restaurant, waiting to be seated, then ordering, then waiting, then eating. You're going to be more time on the mountain, man. That's just the way it is. Now, although I am suggesting maybe it's going to be a good year to learn or be prepared to pack your own provisions, I'm not 100% sure that alcohol would be the right idea. Don't pack your beers. Don't pack your wine. Yes, I have seen the ski pole flask. Yes, I have seen mini flasks that fit in your jacket. All that stuff. I don't know if that'd be such a good idea. I don't know what that's going to do. Booze can be regulated. Be careful if you're doing that. But with all of that, we also have, these. I'm just rambling off restrictions. And the thing is, like I said, be mentally prepared to deal with them. Lodging is going to be something that's probably going to be restricted. You might not be able to get a room, which is why I've been suggesting, one of the things I've been suggesting is stay local. Stay as local as you can. And then later in the season, if, we see opportunities for real trips, take your trip, And again, buy the pass that you can exploit the best locally. If you live around Icon Mountains, buy Icon. If you live around Epic Mountains, buy Epic, Indie, Mountain Collective, what have you. Freedom Pass, whatever it may be. Just your local, whatever your home mountain's specific pass is, get that one. Whatever it may be prepared to make it as comfortable for yourself as you can. That's really what it comes down to. It does sound selfish, but then that's all you really can prepare for, or your family, obviously, husband, wife, kids, you can prepare for each other, but as a family, you count as one unit, you know what I mean? Prepare that way. No, limited services. So what do I need to do to combat the idea of limited services? Peanut butter and jelly, ham and cheese, a couple bottles of water in the backpack, and go. Limited services, they might not, what if they, rental shops may or may not be open or might be doing something specific. So if you're a renter, call ahead, be like, all right, what do I have to do? Not only mentally prepare, but actually prepare. Get out the old notebook and take notes. Call up the mountains. And that's what you're going to have to do anyway. You're going to have to call each mountain for specific, or pay attention to their social media, or pay attention to their website. And if you still have questions, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and ask, what do I need to do when I get there to make this as streamlined and as easy as possible? And if you're making it easier on yourself, you're just going to make it easier on them. Absolutely. Because if they have it set up where you get the reservation and you print something out and you don't have to go to ticket window, customer service, guest service, whatever they call it, you just do what you got to do. Or if you have your pass and you're ready to go, your mega pass, whatever it may be, and especially if it's an RFID card, they don't want you to go to the window this year. They don't want you to have to come in and ask questions. They're going to try and make it easy on you as they can. You can do the same by making it easy on yourself, which will in turn make it easy on them. It's one big circle of life. And it'll make it easier on everybody. Contact your hill if you have questions, specific hill that you're going to. And remember, I just listed off all those things: the masks, the distancing, the limited services, the parking restrictions, lodging restrictions, this restriction, that restriction. Be ready to deal with it. You're not just going to be able to go on bopping on off and, having a good old time unless you can do some backcountry stuff. But again, I keep warning everybody, don't just go do it. Learn how to do it. Find a way to learn how to do it. Get the experience. You don't want to get hurt. You don't want to get dead. You just want to have a good time. Learn how your snowshoes work. Learn how your skins work. Learn how your first aid kit works. Learn how your breather, your airbag, your GPS, your beacon, all that stuff, depending on how backcountry you go. Learn how all that works. Make it easier on yourself. Make it more comfortable for yourself. Then you'll end up making it more comfortable for everybody. And we can all work together. Now, those are the general things. The mask, the distancing, the limitations, and reservations, all that. That's the general things. And again, has anybody really heard any specifics yet? I haven't. Like I said, we know what's happened in other places in the world. Will the United States and or Canada and or the European nations and the Asian countries adopt the same stuff? Who knows? There might be mountains out there and countries out there that aren't going to do a goddamn thing. There's been countries during this whole time that haven't had a lockdown or anything else. They just went about their lives. Maybe like travel restrictions, but they just went about their lives, and their mountains might do the same thing. It's not going to happen here in the U.S. It's not going to happen in Canada. There's going to be European nations that won't be able to either. But those may be general. But what else can we do? What else? Because the general shit we all know. We all know that. Everything I just rattled off, that wasn't new news. Like, you all know that. Here's some of the stuff I say, some other stuff that we can do. What else we can do? Number one, prep yourself with whatever you think you need. Like, of course, like I said, follow the guidelines, follow the rules, follow whatever, dude. Like, absolutely. Those are set up to help you. But if you have something else you want to do on top of that, go for it. Do you have a home remedy for everything that's been passed down from family member to family member since the 1700s that you cook up in a pot with all kinds of roots and spices and herbs and things and stuff and vinegar and apple cider vinegar and all this, man? Do it. Do it. Put that in your Ski Rex travel mug and drink that on the way up there. Go for it. Whatever you think you need, man. Hand sanitizer. Some people don't like it. I personally don't like it. I will use it when I have to, but I don't like it. But throw that in your bag next to your sunblock and everything else. What else? Anything else. If you think you need it, you're not wrong. Don't be afraid or let someone shame you for over prepping. Now, within reason, I should say. Obviously, there's going to be times where there is over prepping, where people will look at you and be like, dude, you're going nowhere. You're going to the end of the driveway. You don't need a shotgun. Or you're doing something and that's just too much. Common thing I've heard on the Appalachian Trail, people pack way too much, prep way too much. They get to the first town and start boxing stuff up and shipping it back home because they brought too much. But as I always say, better to have and not need than need and not have. Though distancing and parking restrictions will be a thing, it is likely that you can, if you've brought too much or you've over prepped, you can put stuff back in your car or leave stuff in your car. It is possible, but don't let anybody talk shit if you do that. You don't know until you get there. So over prepping really isn't a bad thing. And then you'll know for the next time what you need and what you don't. But don't be afraid to do it, because if it makes you feel comfortable and it helps you get into it and it kills your anxieties and your worries and it helps you to, again, the better time we have, the better we prep for ourselves, the better time they'll have handling us at those mountains. And they've put in their guidelines to help us, and if we can help ourselves, that helps them. And everybody has a great time, and it's a big circle of life, like I said. Now, on top of all that, and that's just preparing for being around people who might have the COVID-19, who might have it. They may not have it. But don't forget to check into your pass of choice. Check their refund and return policies. Everybody has one. Everybody. Epic, Icon, Indie, Mountain Collective, I think, specific mountain passes. They all have the policy. Read it, know it, live it, learn it, love it. Ask questions about it. Again, the phone is not dead. Pick it up, call them if you have to, and say, hey, there's problems with the COVID-19. What can you do for me? And they will do it. It might have come on slow from last season. People were very upset about how some of the past operators handled it. Some of the mountains handled it. They've worked very hard to smooth all that out, to smooth out the process, to smooth out the whys and the reasons and the whatnot. Make sure you know that ahead of time. That way, when you get to the point, you say, shit, all this COVID-19, there's now a new problem with it. I need to get my money back. You can just fill out the form or make the call or whatever it may be, and it'll be done, and you can put it to bed and deal with your family, be with your family or your job or whatever else you have to deal with at that time, and that will that'll be taken care of, and you'll get your refund however it is going to get sent to you. Again, like I said, all that stuff at the beginning, that was all stuff we know. This is just other extra stuff I'm thinking of. Do what you think is right. Don't be afraid to over prep and then over prep. Know your COVID-19 return policy or refund policy. And by God, please check your travel policies, state and local, before you go. Don't get yourself in any kind of situation because you didn't know. Vermont's supposed to still have a 14-day quarantine period. I know people aren't bothering with it. Like I see out-of-state license plates all the time, and I'm willing to bet there are very few of them that have quarantine. And you could say, Tim, don't you have any faith in your fellow man? Of course I do. But I also know that my fellow man knows that Vermont has had one of the best times with this, so people might be getting a little cocky, and I get that too. I will admit I've been cocky about it too, a little bit being here, but then I don't really interact with people all that on a day-to-day basis. I work on a computer. The only other person I see is the person in the recording screen right now as I'm recording this. So I get a little cocky with it too, but make sure you know your policies, do the quarantine thing, if you can. And that's why staying local is so important, because think about it, 14-day quarantine period. Let's say they start getting crazy about it and start really enforcing it somehow, some way. The only ways I can think of to enforce it are kind of brutal, but that's my own sci-fi dystopian mind, over imaginative mind going. But say they do. Having to wait 2 weeks to actually get to your vacation. Most people only get 2 weeks vacation. I can't say most, but I would say most people get 2 weeks of vacation a year, or at least 1 week. And if you only have 1 week and half of that is in quarantine, how are you going to ski? Stay local, man. That's what I'm going to do. For me, I'm going to bridge out a little, probably be New England local. I'm not going to lie, but I'm probably not going to leave Vermont much this winter to ski. Now I'm going to hit the places around here, maybe a few in New Hampshire, maybe a couple in New York, Mass, Connecticut. Part of me wants to go get to that place in Rhode Island just to say I did it. Yago Valley or Yagoo Valley. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. And I very rarely think of the place, but whatever it may be, stay local. Or if you're going somewhere, check your travel policy. Because I also know people who have been out there flying around, traveling the country on car, on plane, not by train so much. I don't know if the trains are running Amtrak, but it is possible. But make sure you check all of the travel things, okay? Again, all the same general stuff we all know, plus these little bit of extras, making sure you're prepped with whatever you want to do beyond what they suggest. Know your return policy or your refund policy for your pass. Check your local stuff, or check local and state travel regulations, and then stay local. It could just be easier. Again, if you make it easier on yourself, that's the better time you'll have. You'll have a much better time. The easier, take yourself into account. In this case, it's not being self-centered or self-absorbed or narcissistic or even arrogant. It's going to help everybody out. And when I say yourself, I also mean your family. Whatever your family may include, that counts as one travel unit. So, take care of your unit. That makes sense. And above all else, guys, don't panic. Don't panic, dude. If you're getting out there, you could be a character. Not at all. You might be a character. But what I meant to say was you might be a carrier. Someone around you might be a carrier of the COVID-19 virus. Don't panic, man. Don't panic. And I know it's not easy to do. I know that. I very personally know that. It's not easy to not panic. The best we can do, and this is what I have to do every day. Well, you could get tested. I haven't done that yet. I haven't had a reason to, thankfully. But get tested, keep to yourself. Isolate if you have to, keep to yourself, isolate, quarantine. If you think you've been around, if you, just do it, chill. You don't have to panic and lock yourself in a panic room, call up whoever you need to call up, call your doctor and say, look, this may have happened. They'll tell you what to do. Chillax. You'll be fine. And remember, there's a low mortality rate. And I know in the media that number may be higher, it may be lower. It's kind of hard in today's media to put this stuff together. And what is, you have to go through every other source and kind of try to piece it together and balance it out for yourself. Draw your own conclusion, make your own conclusion. But generally speaking, the mortality rate is high. Is not high, is low. And I know I'm not trying to discount those who have got it, those who have died from it, those who have had family or friends die from it. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is don't panic, because chances are you will be okay and you might not have picked it up anyway. Don't panic. Don't panic when you're at the mountain. If you feel that you have contracted it or been in close contact and maybe a carrier to pass it along, contact everybody you need to contact. Just be cool. Just be cool. That way they can do what they have to do to alert whomever, and we can all move on and it'll be fine. People who need treatment can get treatment. People who need testing can get testing. Actually, people who need testing get testing. Then those who need treatment will get treatment, and so on up the line, and we'll take care of it that way. Don't panic. Above all that other stuff is just stuff we can write down, stuff we can research, stuff we would do anyway. Shit, some of the guidelines for COVID-19 are the same shit I do during cold and flu season anyway. I wash my hands constantly. I don't touch anybody. I don't want to be in the same room with someone who has the cold or norovirus or any other kind of flu or something disgusting. I don't like being sick. Nobody likes being sick. And I overdo it. See, I'm not afraid to tell you I over prep. But that's fine. I do my best. And that's what I'm asking you to do as well, is do your best and don't panic. And everything will be fine. And I know it's hard and I know it's scary. And I know the world right now is a friggin' shit show. And things are going on and stuff being debated back and forth, and the upcoming American presidential election and, this, that, and the other. I get it. It's a lot to process. There's a lot going on. Don't panic. Believe me, I understand why you want to. I have to talk myself down from time to time. No lie. Or call up friends and have them talk me down. I get it. Which is why I'm saying to you, I understand the want. I understand the feeling to do so. Try not to. Do your best. Work your hardest not to panic. That's the best advice I can give for preparing for COVID-19 ski season. Skiing in the time of COVID-19 like love in the time of cholera. Don't be surprised if you see a book, Love in the Time of COVID-19, come out. Don't be surprised if you see that I've written it, but I'm probably not going to. But anyway, be prepared, be safe, and have a good season. That's all you got to do. We can break it down to those simple ideas. Be prepared, the best that you can be. Follow the guidelines, do what you want to do or what you think you should do. Be safe as you can. Don't panic, and we'll just have a good season, man. Respect the guidelines, no matter your COVID-19 opinion. There's something too. I know people out there hate the mask. They've been rebelling against the mask. They won't do it, and they end up starting fights and getting, cops have to come kick them out of stores and shit. It doesn't hurt, dude. It doesn't hurt. Do it. Let it go, and then, when history looks back on this and says, you know what, the masks were bullshit. If that's what it says, I don't know. But if that's what happens, then all you anti-maskers can say, see, told you. You can throw out an I told you so in 5 years. That's fine. Wait until then. But right now, just fucking do it. And, especially skiing, you're going to be wearing one anyway. It's cold. And you don't want the sunburn and the windburn or any of that anyway. Respect the guidelines, educate yourself. Again, remember, I'm no expert. Continue to educate yourself. And like I said, be prepared, be safe, be respectful, have a good season. Don't panic. Email Ski Rex Media if you're panicking, and I will help you best I can. Again, not a professional, not an expert, not a psychologist, but I know what it's like to panic for no reason. And with that, I think that was a whole lot of stuff at the half hour, 32-minute mark on the old time clock. I think that's good. I hope it was entertaining anyway. But I hope it gave you something to think about, a few, things that you might be able to put into effect. Because that's kind of what I think, and that's just kind of what I'm going to do. So if that helps you out, that's great. I'm glad it did. Please let me know in the comments of whatever way you choose to listen to this. If you watch on YouTube, has its own comment section, has its own everything. And the description has everything. The email, you can write to me that way. You can go to social media and leave comments about this. This will be posted on social media, obviously. And speaking of social media, let's real quick do a shameless plug. Obviously, social media is my way to connect with most people. And there's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord server, all in the description. On social media, you also have seen shameless plugs for the merch shop. Today, I'm wearing my Welcome to Vermont shirt, home of Ski Rex Media. See that? Isn't that cool? This is an homage to the signs that are on the interstate that say Welcome to Vermont, the Green Mountain State. They don't have the hashtag I love Vermont on it, and they don't have the home of Ski Rex Media on it. They should, but they don't. But I'll have to talk to the governor, whoever is. But I'm going to wait until after that election to talk to them about getting that changed, and I'll talk to that new governor. It's probably going to be our current governor, but we'll see. In any case, watch social media, because if you are watching this on Wednesday morning or even Wednesday afternoon or even Wednesday night, on Wednesday night, I'm going to go live with the first Ski Rex Media merch giveaway. Why? Because I want to help you. I'm talking about prepping for the season, so I'm going to help you prep for the season. So watch social media. Follow Ski Rex Media on Instagram and or Twitter and or Facebook. All three or one of any of them. And you're going to see that I'm giving away 3 Ski Rex Media hoodies, your choice. Now, all of my merch is logo merch or is Ski Rex Media logo merch in some way. Obviously, look at the bottom, home of Ski Rex Media. Boom. There's the Ski Rex Media logo, the skull and crossbones. There's 4 designs right now, all Ski Rex Media. You get to pick the design. I'm doing it drawing style. There'll be more about that when the post comes out. But basically, if you're watching this before the post comes out, you get a little preview. Or at least you get a little extra, instruction. Basically, what it's going to be is you'll see the video, watch the video, share the post, like this post, subscribe and or follow, depending on where you are, which terminology they use. Subscribe, follow, share the post, like the post, and you will be entered into a drawing. That's right, we're doing a contest type giveaway, a drawing giveaway for Ski Rex Media hoodie, help keep you warm when the winter starts. And we're doing it now because the manufacturer I use is behind because of COVID-19. So you will have it by winter, probably in October, because it's going to be going for at least a week. and then you'll have it probably before November, but I can't guarantee that because, again, COVID-19 and all the shit that's going on with the post office anyway. You'll see. Keep an eye out for that. Thank you for watching, and I will check you next week. And this coming Saturday is a new live stream and virtual après party. We're going to be getting back into that this week with a new topic, though I don't know what it is yet, but you'll see that coming up as well, okay? Thank you, everyone, for watching. I am Tim from Ski Rex Media. Please subscribe, share, like, all of that, especially if you're on the YouTube version. So hit the subscribe button and definitely like it, share it with your friends, all that, okay? And I will see you all on the next one, and I will see you all out there where we have our Don't Panic, Be Prepared, loving the time of cholera COVID-19 ski season, all right? I'll see you out there, everyone. Thank you.